Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Notre Dame Primetime Live. I am your host, Ryan Fravel. To my left is Ben Manier. My co-host over here. He's chilling. We are back after another few commitments. And then we got my boy Sean at AMD Forever on Twitter. He is back as well.
I'm here.
Technical difficulties right now.
Nope, I'm on Twitter. I got to retweet so we can
okay, there you go. There we go. All right. Anyways, we're back. It seems like Notre Dame recruiting has just continued to stay on fire. We'll get into that here in a little bit. First things first, July 4th is coming up. How are you guys doing? And what's July 4th looking like?
All right, Ben, you first.
Wait, what are we supposed to talk about?
You know what? Let's just get him out of here. All
right? July 4th. I have a job for Able, so I'll be working
on the 4th of July.
July?
Yes.
That's a federal holiday.
Yes.
That's ridiculous. So are you going to have any fireworks or anything? Or
we'll see. Tequila will be running. Of course, 4th of July, you got to drink Mexican alcohol. You don't drink American alcohol or Russian alcohol.
You need to set some fireworks off in that hospital or something.
I don't suggest doing that. Do not suggest doing that.
John, what about you, man?
We're doing a little early. We got my wife's sister and her husband are coming up tomorrow night. And we're spending the 3rd. We're going to see Jurassic World, and we'll go like Top Golf or something of that nature. And then the 4th, we might try to go to like a river early in the morning before it gets 120 degrees, and then we'll just set fireworks, grill some burgers, do stuff like that. So
you gotta. Awesome.
4th of July is a great holiday. You got to do something.
100%. So obviously,
what are you doing?
Like for me, I told Marcus this. So flying out tomorrow. My brother's getting married on 4th of July. Having his wedding at SeaWorld in Orlando. So that'll be fun.
Well, do you know how to swim?
I do know how to swim.
Okay, yeah. I just want to make sure we don't lose you this weekend.
Hey, man. Dolphins are pretty rough. But yeah, that's what I got going on. Obviously chill with some family. But obviously there's a lot of things going on for July 4th. We've got our own things going on, especially Notre Dame, with 3 commitment dates all within 3 days of each other, starting July 4th, with Kadon Finley committing, the receiver from Aledo, Texas, between Notre Dame and Texas, Texas legacy, son of NFL, Super Bowl champion Jermichael Finley. And you got, Braden Robinson, who moved his commitment date up from July 20th to July 6th. And then you got Devin Fitzgerald, the son of NFL Hall of Fame Larry Fitzgerald, coming right in between. And it seems like everything that's the way it's going, Notre Dame's going to go 3 for 3 with some absolute fireworks at receiver.
Fravel jinxed it. We're not going to get a single guy. Awesome.
Yeah.
No,
remember, we have to say bad things about the recruits coming. Come here. That's how we get them.
What are the odds a few weeks ago when we were talking about, you never land all of them. You usually could land like this many. We'd be lucky to get like 70% or something. We're going to go 100%. Like I don't think I've ever seen that in Notre Dame recruiting. Like when you have like this many prospects after a weekend where you're like, okay, we want to land all of them. Usually there's the ones that you're like super high that you'll get, like a Dante Moore, and then you don't land them and you're like, you freak out. But it looks like we're going to get every single one.
Yeah, it's crazy because we were just, me and Ben, I remember the first show we talked about, it was, there's no way we're going 9 for 9. That was the entire thing. If everything goes chalk, like how it's trending, you're going to land Braden Robinson. You're going to land Devin Fitzgerald. You're going to land Kadon Finley. Things are looking good for Elijah Golden. We legitimately would be sitting here if all those goes our way. One kid, there would be one target that would be left uncommitted that was on the first official visit weekend, and that would be Evan Jacobson. we'll get into that a little bit here when we talk about Notre Dame's newest tight end commit and how that maybe impacts the Jacobson stuff. But man, it is crazy what we're sitting.
What about
this is-
Elijah Golden too, coming up in a few weeks? That's another big one. This could be like a recruiting class that after this year we could see. I wouldn't say start, but at least rotating and playing. Like, is it crazy to say like 5 to 7 players? Whether it's like just rotating in as depth or something. Like, that'd be insane. I mean, I'm not going to say 7. Probably like 5 of these guys I think could play pretty immediate, specific, especially O'Brien. But looks like Ben is where you're
some technical difficulties.
Turning them purple over here. But
Yeah, I'm fixing it.
But Ben, like, what do you? I mean, obviously, I know you're doing that right now, but what are your thoughts on just how everything's played out since obviously the first OV weekend? And it looked like, certain writers weren't overstating when they said we could go 9 for 9.
It's a very big thing. And I think it's something that we're going to look back on in like 3 years if we ever do anything with these guys. We're going to look back on and be like, wow, this was the weekend that we really did it. This was the weekend that we got this big recruiting class. And like we said, I don't know if we've ever seen Notre Dame football do this before.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't.
There you go.
There we go. We fixed it.
Yep. We're using the work camera. Let me fix it.
I hope it turns back to purple.
If it turns back to purple, we're calling it.
We're
calling it a career. But yeah, this is just huge for Notre Dame football. We've never been in this situation before where we've got recruits like this, and it's something that we're going to talk about in the future. And of course, this thing got to go completely on Marcus Freeman's resume as a coach. Like, you look at in the future, I'm not saying that we're going to be bad in the future, but you look at some coaches, like things that kept them their job was recruiting. Like, how long did Jim Harbaugh go without winning anything at Michigan? But he kept having a top recruiting class. That's why he never got fired, realistically. It's because he kept recruiting top players. So this is, and I think Freeman can have a bear curve than Jim Harbaugh by a mile because he's not a dirty little cheater, as Frank likes to say it. But yeah, this is a big thing to see happen.
Championship needs to be stripped. I mean, it's you suspend or you take away bowl eligibility for like academic or like recruiting violations, but when it comes to like cheating on the actual football field and like cheating in actual games compared to recruiting or compared to academic stuff, how do you get like, I don't know. I don't get how, you have academic violations. We're going to not let you play in a bowl game this year, but you cheat in a football game that helped you win a natty. We're not going to strip your natty. Like, that makes no sense to me.
I think and me and Marcus have talked about this off camera. I think a lot of it is, the NCAA doesn't have nearly as much power as they used to. The NCAA used to be able to say, this is what's going to happen, deal with it, and there was nothing schools could do to fight back. NCAA just doesn't have power anymore, and that's
what NCAA realistically, they don't have proof of anything that they like. If they like how they make the claim like, they have all these deleted text messages, they have all these proof of deleted text messages. They really don't say it. They don't have it, and if they did, they would show it by now. We saw it before with recruiting violations. Like, who remembers like Ole Miss and Mississippi State with Laramie Tunsil and Leon Lewis? They let people know about that stuff a week after they found it. Why would they be sitting on it this long? I think that's a big thing. I think the NCAA dropped the ball here. They can't find anything on it, and they should have done a way better job at researching and investigating this.
I mean, it's just obvious. I mean, everything from screenshots to pictures at games. It was just, I don't understand how it wasn't. I mean, everybody knows it happened. Like, it's illegal for a reason. Like,
it's one of those things. You find a loaded gun, but you got put the gun in the killer's hand. Like, it's one of the things that's like, you have to have, and they're not going to do it because Michigan, if they feel like they got screwed, Their donor base is full of a whole bunch of
I
rich
mean,
lawyers who can
Notre
sue the
Dame had
NCAA.
vacated wins because whatever Golson had a tutor cheated.
Doing
Like,
homework. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my.
sucks. It's terrible the way that works. Like, yeah,
And self-reported, right? I mean,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
all
All right,
right.
let's get back on track. So first things first, I was, as we like to say in the group chat, I was actually decided to touch grass for you take a little break from the recruiting, and I decided to touch grass for a day. I stay off my phone for like 5 hours, come back and I see, oh, breaking. Notre Dame has landed elite class of 2026 tight end Ian Primer. And I immediately hit up, Marcus, and I'm like, hey, man, you told us we weren't getting him. Sean, you said we weren't getting him. I think we were all in kind of agreement. We didn't think we were going to get him. And yet again, here we are, 2 for 2 now with Kari Adams and Ian Primer. How are we feeling about this one?
I mean, it just looked like Kansas State was in such a good position. They were so confident. It felt like that was where it was going, and it came out of nowhere. And then when it happened, I was like, this is what, the second time now that Ben has jinxed something. So,
Yeah.
you know what? What's the
Little
next?
do you guys know that this was all part of the plan. I knew we were getting Ian Primer from day one, and I just wanted to put the luck back in our hands.
Can you do me a favor, Ben, and just say that like Marcus Freeman will not stay at Notre Dame forever?
We're never winning a natty. I'm just gonna say it now. It's not gonna happen.
Yep.
Freeman's gonna probably leave after he won't even make it to the first week of the season. We're gonna fire him. Freeman's got to go down as the worst football coach in Indy history.
Oh, there you go. Now it's it. Yeah, that's all I needed. But yeah, how do you feel, Ben? I'm sure you were surprised.
This is we made comments last week about Tyler Eifert type player. Ian Primer is a Tyler Warren type player. There's some of these clips. He's in that running back making plays. This kid is a Swiss Army knife on the field. And it's something so great to see us get like a tight end like this.
He's the highest ranked tight end Notre Dame's landed since Michael Mayer. I think he's more evolved as a pass catcher than Michael Mayer was at this time in his career when he was coming out. And I legitimately think Mayer has the ability, or not Mayer, Primer. I think Primer has the ability to be one of the best Notre Dame tight ends we've seen since Kyle Rudolph and Tyler Eifert. I think he's got that capability. And Michael Mayer, obviously. But you see him and his just athletic ability. They had him on kick returns, returning touchdowns as a tight end. They have him playing free safety. What other tight end have we seen do that? Not any that I can really think of. I know, Mayer was a pure just tight end in high school. This kid is a tight end that has the catching skills of a Tyler Warren, the speed of a Tyler Eifert, and the blocking ability of a Michael Mayer. And it's crazy. And it's this is the one where it shocked me the most because we all thought going to Kansas State. From everything it sounds like Kansas State thought he was going to Kansas State until it just randomly wasn't Kansas State. I think this is just a pure Marcus Freeman recruiting win. And I'm excited to see, where this continues.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting because I do agree that he has the potential to be one of the best tight ends that Notre Dame's had. I still think in terms of, talent, you got Tyler Eifert is arguably the best. And in terms of just freak on the field, I always felt that Mayer was just different. But I think this kid is going to be, he could be a NFL caliber player. I mean, we could see him in 5 years in the NFL, right? it's going to be interesting to follow his college career because it is something that I'm wondering if he's going to play early on.
Ben, do you think he could? I mean, I know obviously Raridan's still young.
Raridan's
Flanagan's there.
Probably 1 to 2 years left.
I think so. What he'll be coming in Raridan's. I think it'll be Raridan's last year. The year he's coming in because I think Raridan's going to stay for 2 more years. He's that type of talent, and he could easily, like, if we use him correctly, I could see him getting some draft hype that second year, that second full year starting. But it's really got to depend on how the situation looks. We can get these tight ends, like we can get guys like Michael Mayer, we can get these big recruits, but it's going to be what type of way we're going to play, who our quarterback's going to be, because by that point where he's like a full-time starter his second year in, CJ Carr's probably not the quarterback anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. And it's one of those things like, oh, imagine if we didn't have Michael Mayer have he went from Ian Book to Jack Cohen to Drew Pine. Like,
no, if we didn't have Michael Mayer that last year, if we didn't have Michael Mayer that last year with Drew Pine, we would not have won as many games as we did.
No, we wouldn't have. Yeah.
That's the point. Like, that's my point. The quarterback play is going to matter. Michael Mayer got kind of screwed because he went from having some people the best quarterback Notre Dame's had since Brady Quinn to Drew Pine, who's, nice way to put it, not the best quarterback that we've had since, not even close. He might be the worst quarterback we've had since, I don't even know, Charlie Weiss area.
Eli Raridan, he's got to at least, I mean, he's definitely been with the program 4 years. He might have 2 years of eligibility with a red shirt, but he's a senior this year. So he's got definitely.
Is he a senior? I think he had the red shirt year.
Yeah, he had an injury.
The thing with Premer,
just 2 years of eligibility left.
The thing with Premer, and this is where I come, is like the tight end room to me, besides Raridan, a lot of talent, a lot of young guys, and I don't really think there's that guy that if you're recruiting Premer, right? There's not a guy like Premer could probably looks at the room and goes, outside of Raridan, I could start as a true freshman, like legitimately.
Well, like you have James Flanagan coming in, right? And that's a guy that maybe because of circumstance of whenever Eli's gone, he might start being a year with the program, and that would keep him from starting. It's a good problem to have, but we can't forget about, some of the other talent on the roster.
Yeah. I just think it's like one of those things where if you're just going based off of pure talent, if you're Premer himself, he's got to feel pretty good about his chances of being a starter pretty early on in his tenure.
Yeah.
Who's the Tyler Eifert here? Is it Frizzell or is it Premer now?
Because we both, yeah.
We both said it. Well, I agree with you. That was my mistake. I agreed with you.
I think Frizzell, he has the receiver ability of Tyler Eifert, and like the ability to find holes in zone and stuff like that. Like Premer is more of obviously a complete tight end. So that's where it's kind of like I feel like it's a lazy comp to say that for both of them. But both, when I watch them play, there are parts of their games that remind me both of Tyler Eifert. I think Premer is more, I want to say like Kyle Rudolph, where we forget how good Kyle Rudolph was his freshman year and at his time at Notre Dame. I think Ian Premer has that kind of impact because, people will say it was Eifert, but Kyle Rudolph was just he almost had 1,000-yard season while sharing the field with Golden Tate and Michael Floyd. That's crazy for a tight end.
He had a long NFL career too.
Yeah.
For a while, with the tight end position is so different now than when it was then, but I remember fantasy football picking him, and I'm like, yeah, I'm guaranteed 500 yards and 7 touchdowns, and that's great for a tight end. And now I'm like, gosh, he wouldn't even be on my team with how tight ends are used. But
tight ends, it used to be the guys like that. It was all touchdowns. That's all you looked at, how often they got touchdowns. And now it's like a tight end could be your number one option.
Yes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All right, let's get to our next commit this one from a 2027 kid. Obviously, the second class of 2027 commit we've had from Elias McGaskin out of Mobile, Alabama. This one kind of came out of the blue. At least, I feel like we would all agree on that one in terms of we didn't see this one coming until he randomly just dropped a commitment date on Twitter. First impressions and initial thoughts.
Did not know who this kid was until the day he dropped his commitment date. This is the first time I've watched this film, so I'm not like it looks like he has some good mobility out there at linebacker. It looks like he's able to read a few plays there, get in the backfield a little bit. But realistically, he was his Twitter says he's number one ranked linebacker in the country. How true is that? Is he top ranked?
He's anywhere from top 5 to top 10.
So it's a good linebacker get. That's a good get then. Just start building the cycle early. We just got the long snapper last week. We got the linebacker this week. Maybe next week we'll get a corner or Nolan Ziegler, Frable's favorite quarterback. Did you guys see he jumped in the air and threw a football like that?
Yeah.
That means he's elite. I remember when Anthony Richardson did that and we were so excited.
He reminds me a lot of not necessarily in terms of potential, but in terms of like film watching, raw talent like Snead. I think he has to build up to a Snead level, kind of like Prince Colley. You remember Prince Colley?
Yeah.
He reminds me of that, but more of the athleticism from Snead vibes. But this was out of nowhere. I remember all the drama on Twitter of the Golden Child, and everyone was like, "What about me, Ryan Favell?" But I like this commitment a lot. I mean, this is probably going to be a top 5 player in the class. He's going to be a top 100 player by the time signing day rolls around in 2027, which is a long ways away. But he's a top 10 linebacker. But I think, do y'all agree, like a Jalen Snead Colley vibe? Or
yeah. So I know that, and Ben can attest to this in the group chat, there was a little discourse of his size. Because depending on what site you look at, he's listed from anywhere from 5'11" to 6'1", around 190 to 220. And there are people like, oh, he's too small. He needs to get bigger. He's not going to be, people are going to be able to throw over the top. People got to understand he's a sophomore. I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't done growing when I was a sophomore in high school. I was like 5'8". So I think this kid's gonna be fine if he's already 6 foot, 6'1" at he's a sophomore in high school. There's a good chance he's gonna be 6'2", maybe 6'3" by the time he's done at high school. The thing that I pay attention to is this, and Ben and we talk about this every show. The offers and where he's from. He is from deep south, Mobile, Alabama, in Crimson Tide country, and he has offers from every SEC school, not named Alabama and Georgia.
Are you nervous that if Alabama offers that changes things?
It does, because Notre Dame's had issues in the past with SEC country commits committing early, and then they get an offer from a bigger school.
Yep.
But just as of right now, I want this kid. And if you I read, what was it? I want to say Jamie, Uncle June had put Jamie's, I'm trying to think of the guy's last name, his scouting report on him. And the whole thing is he's just a hitter. Like, he's going to hit you and make you feel it. And it's not like a big hit. It's a hit where he's going to go forward, continue to go forward, while the other guy's going to go bounce 5 yards backwards. And I like that. What I see on his tape is he doesn't have the coverage ability yet, but of a JOK.
I thought about it. I wasn't gonna say it.
I didn't want to because, and obviously I don't want to be like, oh, he's going to be a Buckus Award winner, right? But the size, because that was a big thing. That was a knock on JOK for his first couple years in South Bend was he's too small, right? He was like 6'1", I think. And he ended up being our best linebacker we've had since Manti Te'o. And I think I see it with him. He's got the vision. He's got the he just if he can get his pass coverage skills up, I totally could see him being a JOK.
Isn't Osbury short too? Right.
Osbury, yeah, he's 6'1".
I mean, similar on that aspect, but Osbury's. You said he's not really polished at coverage to you. Osbury's more polished coverage wise than he is, but I mean, like JLK came in super small, but then he hit the weight room and, like you said, just changed it. It totally depends. I mean, there's guys that there's 3 stars that are the developmental piece and how they develop. Like Anye went from being like a guy that was just a guy to a ripped monster, right? So I could see it where I agree with you, Ryan, that he could turn into that.
Ben, I know you've got some time.
Yeah, like he's sick. I think the worst case scenario is he turns out to be 6'1". He's an undersized linebacker, but we do good with undersized linebackers. We're not a school that's like, oh, you're 6'1", you can't go here. That's one thing. And we talk about Alabama. I don't know if Alabama would offer him at 6'1". I really don't, because they're a school that, like, it's kind of down in the South. There's a lot of kids that want to go play football there. And if there's a kid who wants to play football there, that's they're considered correct height at what Alabama considers to be correct height. I don't know if they're going to go after him. Now, if he ends up being 6'3", then throw everything I said out the window, which will probably happen now because I said it on the podcast. But the height's not concerning. The size isn't concerning. If he's 6'1", then he's 6'1", and we work well with those anyway.
Ryan, what's your hat?
Huh? My hat.
What's your hat?
It's the Orange Bowl championship hat.
Oh, I was sitting here thinking, I was like, did he go to Africa and get all the lost, like, national championships?
But yeah, so, all right, that's it for the 2 commits. Obviously, again, we'll talk about it a little bit. Just some more recruiting side notes. Elijah Golden, we talked about Sean put his golden brick in last week. What was the bricked up level? Like 8?
It was a 9.
It was like a 9. I think I want to say Ben put a golden brick in as well. But Mike Singer, he put in his prediction for Golden to Notre Dame. We got an official commitment date. Elijah Golden will be committing July 26th. You guys still feeling good about those golden bricks?
I don't think he's got to go here at all. Actually, I think he's got to reopen his commitment, and that's what the commitment date's for. He's got to let us all know he's like, we're restarting from day one, not going Notre Dame.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting. He told me, he's like, if me and Ellis are both in South Bend, we're gonna have a conversation about that Golden Child nickname. So I'm like, oh. So
why can't he be the gold standard and the other one be the golden child? Or
because Elijah said he's got seniority. He's older, so he gets to. That's his nickname. To choose the nickname.
You can't both be the golden, tackled by the golden child and assisted with the golden child. Like, can't have 2.
All right. Now, obviously, so it's kind of been an easy show because there hasn't really been too much. College Football 26. We are. What, a week away from release?
Yep, for those who bought the deluxe edition, not Ben.
For those who,
For all you rich people.
And so they released their rankings. We'll go through them, kind of one by one, starting off with the team rankings in general. I don't really have a problem with this one as much as we'll get into the others. But how do you guys feel about the top 25?
You're tied second. I mean, I will take it. Alabama being one is crazy. I think Ohio State should be the unanimous number 1 team. Like, I think it should be Ohio State, Texas, Notre Dame. I wouldn't put Alabama in the top 5, to be honest. Ryan Williams overall probably ups it a little bit, but Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, Georgia, and Oregon, and all of them are probably the ones where I'm like, okay, those are like the the big ones that I would have ranked high. I like Notre Dame's ranking. You can't complain being a top 5 team overall in the rankings. Their offensive ranking was probably inflated with Jeremiah Love, and I like the ranking. I just am a little surprised because maybe O-line helps a lot too. We probably have high ranked O-linemen, but I was kind of thinking our defense would be higher ranked personally, especially with how much we're returning. So it is surprising to see offense higher than defense. But team ranking wise overall with everything, special teams, blah, 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 I like it. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, my only problem is with defensive rankings. This ranking, completely fine. I fully understand it. Because realistically, one of the big things is we have a quarterback who's going to come in. CJ Carr, if I was doing the ratings, I'd put him at like an 80, 81, a ceiling of like an 83. So being top 5, it's fine. Also, this is very early on in the cycle of it. Like when the game first comes out and when the game ends, they update the rosters like 8 times.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think this is a good ranking. I don't know how in the world Alabama is number 1. Like Jeremiah Smith, shockingly, Caleb down, all of them guys at Ohio State. And yeah, Ohio State's kind of in the same situation, but us not gonna have a high rated quarterback. But Alabama, yeah. You think Sam will be an 85?
Yeah, I think he'll be around that ranking. He's Ohio State quarterback.
No, that's true. But I don't see what Alabama had. Like maybe the O-line and D-line, secondary's okay. I'd have to see the whole ratings of the whole team. I don't know how.
The 2 highest ranked players in the game too.
Yeah, that's where I'm confused on how Ohio State has the 2 highest ranked players and they're 989. Like there has to be something somewhere where it just dips them below. It has to be something somewhere. Maybe like in the D-line, because they had a D lineman lead this year. Like they lost 2 of their best.
Yeah, JT too. I mean, I do think too. You're right. I mean, the rankings will change. I mean, Cam Scatabo was a 70-something overall. It wasn't even the starting running back at Arizona State in the game. Then he ended it as a 90 overall running back. So the rankings will change throughout the season. I can see CJ Carr going up. To be honest, I thought offensive ranking was a little high, but with Jeremiah Love, with Pauling, Malachi Fields, and with the O-line, I'm like, okay, I get it. I think we have the best O-line in the video game with Jeremiah Love, so that's where offensive ranking is. But I'm like, defensively, like we're returning everybody except for Watts and a few pieces, and it's just weird. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, so we'll get into the defensive stuff specifically here in a second, but
okay.
I wanted to mainly go with just the team overalls right now because I'm fine with Notre Dame being a top 5 team, however you want to have it. I don't think Alabama should be number 1. I think we're all in agreement on that one, that Alabama should not be the number 1 team. I think I would swap out Georgia with Bama or even Oregon with Bama.
Agreed.
I also don't necessarily like how Notre Dame is in the same tier in terms of overall as Texas A&M. I don't like that Oregon is in the same tier as Miami and LSU and Florida. Texas Tech, like what are they doing here?
Texas Tech is going to be good this year.
Texas Tech should win the Big 12 handily, unless the Big 12 implodes on itself again like it did last year. But Texas Tech is a very good football team.
Like outside of there's some things I feel like with the team rankings, you could nitpick. Like Duke, you could nitpick a lot of this. I just think that it should have went by tiers where you have any combination of Georgia, Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame. Second tier.
People talk about Penn State. We joke around with the recruiting and stuff, but that roster this year, to me, specifically offensively, I think they have a top 3 team in the country. Now their coaching will keep them from that, but I think that they're going to be good. And I'm sorry, I'm reading the talent. Yeah, Arizona State's a little low for me too. 85. Well, actually, that's a
Yeah.
good rating for them. LSU, fine, I get it. Yeah, A&M being at 88 overall. What have they done? I mean, I like it because make it look good for Notre Dame when we beat their ass in South Bend. But you know, I just don't think that. I agree with you, Ryan.
But
The top five.
do we think that A&M and Oregon are the same level?
No.
Heading into this year?
We're gonna have to see, I'm gonna say it. We're gonna have to see how the quarterback play in Oregon works out. If we're talking
With
about the
Dante
same
Moore?
level,
But
yeah,
even
Dante
like
Moore.
even before that, like just like if you had to pick a team right now, Mark, or then like who are you taking? Oregon or Texas A&M?
Oregon. 100% Oregon. 100% Oregon.
Like
100%. Like it's
Like, I don't know.
you know what's crazy? I told this to my brother-in-law the other day.
And I'm a psychopath, but I have to question the quarterback play.
Yeah,
like,
but you could do the same for A&M.
You can, but at least at the end of the day, they're returning guys who played in their system last year.
Yes.
So, and that's the big thing. And like realistically, and we talk about sometimes like with transfer quarterbacks coming in, learning to play in a new system, it can take a little bit. Like I would say realistically, Riley Leonard wasn't fully accepted into our system until the Stanford game. Like even after that, we still ran the ball a crap ton. But
let me ask this question: is Bryce Underwood ranked higher than CJ Carr?
no.
Oh, he's gonna 100% be ranked.
He shouldn't be, but he will be.
No, I mean
it's ridiculous.
Let's think about this for a second. You're gonna have a guy that was a unanimous 5-star coming as a freshman who's also on the cover. Do you think that they're not going to give him a higher?
Oh wait, yeah, Underwood is on the cover.
Than a guy that's a 4-star coming in that, some sites had him outside the top 10 in the top 10. Like, it's just, he's going to be higher ranked. And to be honest, with the star rating alone, because if you just look as a casual college football fan, Michigan got this freshman guy they paid $10 million who's on the cover of the game. Or a Notre Dame guy who was a backup last year as a freshman redshirt that a lot of people haven't heard of. Right? I'm just being realistic.
Yeah.
I do think, because you were talking about Oregon and A&M, to be honest, I still have this opinion, especially how college football is turning. I think from top to bottom, depth, I think the Big Ten is better than the SEC.
I could see the point there. I wouldn't. It's in my eyes, it's very close to where I don't know if I can't argue with that realistically. Geez.
That's why
I would say so. This was
I still think Illinois is better than teams like Auburn, South Carolina. Even though on these ratings they're not, I think Illinois is better than Auburn, South Carolina.
See, here's my thing. I think the Big Ten has the top of the conference, at least this past year, was better than the top of the SEC. I think the SEC is deeper because I think, what was it, Indiana? If Indiana's in the SEC, they're getting smacked around by a few teams in there.
I don't know.
I mean, it's just a talent level thing. I mean, because like you look at who was a team that was good in the SEC last year that was just kind of in the middle hanging around. A&M, if they were in the Big
South
Ten,
Carolina.
South Carolina is a good example. Let's use them. If they were in the Big Ten, would they beat Oregon? Would they beat Ohio State? Would they beat Penn State? Would they beat?
Don't say they're going to be Penn State. Fravel, don't be dumb.
I mean, you don't even play those teams every year consistently. But look
here's my thing.
I think Iowa and Nebraska could beat South Carolina.
I could see South Carolina beat Penn State if it was on. Because let's not. Penn State almost lost to Minnesota last year, and let's be real. Minnesota was a good team, middle of the road team in the Big Ten. That Minnesota team would have got waxed by Georgia last year. That Minnesota team would have got waxed by Ole Miss last year. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Oregon almost lost to Idaho.
To Wisconsin. They almost lost to Wisconsin, too. But Wisconsin's not a good football team. Like, Wisconsin went, 6-6 last year? I just don't think, to me, Penn State getting 10-2 every year, basically guaranteed, has shown for years that the Big Ten is a 2-team, at most 3-team conference with a lot of mid to below level tier teams.
Okay, could someone clip this for us to make fun of them later?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Big Ten's changing though. Last 2 years they've won, but you look at the development of talent. Like I could see a team like, not saying, don't clip me with this. I'm not saying they are going to be good, but I could see a year like the Indiana, like a team like Nebraska or a team like Iowa, just so happened to win 10 games this year. That wouldn't surprise me, right? Illinois, that wouldn't surprise me if they.
But Illinois can win 10 games. Look at their schedule. They play Ohio State, and that's it. Like, that's their conference schedule. Indiana last year, they had one hard game all year. And
Yeah, but
Wait. Indiana last year's schedule, was it like the worst team? They played the worst teams in the Big Ten, you're right. But they had the Michigan was not an easy game. Michigan's not an easy win. No matter how we put it, Michigan's still a good defensive team, and they're still a good winning team. They're everything that works in college football. Ohio State's a hard team to play. Besides that, I could say they don't have a hard schedule, but look at this year. If Indiana goes and wins 9 games, and I think they're able to say, hey, the schedule doesn't matter. We're a good football team. But this year they play Oregon, Penn State.
Rankings.
Yeah.
Who is the next Clemson of a team that was Clemson wasn't elite and they became elite? Is it Arizona State like that post? Is it Texas Tech with the Big Ten? Is it SMU? Is it Illinois? Who do you think is the next team to out of nowhere just be like a team that makes the playoffs every single year?
If Texas Tech can use the NIL and recruit like how they've been recruiting, they could dominate the Big 12. They really
think
could.
It's Arizona State.
You think Arizona State?
You're in the heart of Phoenix, right? Mm-hmm. Arizona's a great area for some recruits. And then think about it like this: you have Sam Levitt at quarterback, who's a freshman last year, right? He's going to be a guy for the next year or two that could at least have them compete for the Big 12. And then let's say they make it here and there occasionally. Let's say they make the playoffs again. Recruits are going to notice that. And I think that Arizona State has the potential to be that, a program that's up and coming.
I just think with how NIL is going, I think Texas Tech is slowly going to start becoming like how people see SMU is now becoming, they're getting recruits because they'll be able to spend money. And that's my big thing. And it's something that I'm taking into effect with it purely off of just NIL. And this year, realistically, Texas Tech this year, Arizona State's the only competition. And if they beat Arizona State, then I don't see a way they don't make the Big 12 championship or make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech is going to be 11-1 next year heading into the conference championship. They're gonna be a playoff team.
So all right, we'll see how that goes, but I think that's the best at it.
Let's get into the more specific, rankings. Offensive, Notre Dame. Wait, is this the wrong one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
The offensive power rankings.
No, that's college football 25, bro.
Yes,
no.
Yeah.
Come on, Frable.
I got it.
I was like, Colorado. I was about to lose it.
All right, hold on. Let me get this.
The frickin' pro can't do his job.
There we go. All right.
Hey.
There we go. Top 10 offenses. Notre Dame is on this list. I don't necessarily know if I agree with it. And I'm very high. Very, very high.
You said Jane Grouse got to be a first-round pick.
I think the top 3 are perfect. the top 3 offensive rankings are perfect. Let's put that out there. Perfect. Now you could change 1, 2, 3 or whatever, but the top 3 teams to me should be the top 3 offenses.
I do think part of Notre Dame's ranking is the fact that Malachi Fields is a 91 overall. Great House, I'd imagine it's going to be anywhere from that 87 to 89 overall.
Agreed.
Jeremiah Love is a top 3 player.
He's a 96 overall. 90%.
The offensive line, I'd imagine would all be 87 or higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raritan probably be in that
85,
84 range. So I see it.
And Jadarian Price is probably going to be 80, 88, right?
Faison and Pauling will probably be in that 83 to 86-ish range, I want to say. So I get it. Ratings-wise, it's probably how this ended up happening.
Should Malachi Fields be a 90? And
91? That's what he is.
Should he?
With 99 spec catch, by the way.
Should he, though? Offensive, since we're going off offensive rankings, like you brought it up, I want to ask that. Should he be? Because I think Greathouse should. I mean, I just should he?
I think Fields. I think he deserves a 90 just because if you're going based off of positional rankings, there were a few sites that had him. I think CBS had him as the number 2 or number 3 receiver in the country. I don't think he's that high, but if they're just going, I don't know what EA uses, but Malachi Fields is one of the best receivers in the portal, and I think that I do. That would be an interesting dynamic, though, to be like, should Greathouse get a higher overall than Fields? Because of we've seen Greathouse at Notre Dame. We haven't seen Fields at Notre Dame. What do you think, Ben?
No, Fields should have a higher overall than Greathouse. And your point being, we've seen Greathouse at Notre Dame. We haven't seen Fields at Notre Dame. We've been preaching this all offseason that the offense is going to change a lot. We're going to take more deep balls this year. So I'm not saying that, it's going to mean Fields is going to struggle. I just think Fields just a better wide receiver than Greathouse. Fields is, I've seen I'm in his top 5 wide receivers in college football this year.
Yeah.
I would put him in my top 10, maybe in like the 6 to 7 range. But yeah, I think this, like Sean said, top 3, perfect. That's the top 3 offenses in college football right there. And Arizona State, great. They have an amazing quarterback. They have a great running game. They're going to have a good offensive line, good receivers.
Yep.
Clemson, maybe a little higher, maybe 989, but the 5th ranked offense is fine.
Yeah.
Alabama, I don't see it.
Who do they have other than Ryan Williams? And I think this is the Ryan Williams effect.
They really
the quarterback
don't have
is
anybody.
what, Simpson?
Yeah, their quarterback Simpson. Has he played?
And then you have running back. I don't even know who their running back's going to be.
They lost their starting running back, Justice Haynes, to Michigan.
I just don't. Notre Dame. Is this? You call me crazy? I think you should swap Florida and Alabama.
I could agree with that more.
I
wouldn't be mad at that because DJ Lagway is one of the best quarterbacks in college football this year.
Well,
that would make more sense.
I would switch Miami because Miami's going to have
that's offense. A little too far to me.
No, but the thing is they have one of the best offensive coordinators in the nation.
Are we saying switch Miami and Notre Dame or switch Miami and Alabama?
Miami and Alabama.
Oh yeah, Alabama shouldn't be top 10. They shouldn't. I'm not going to. It aggravates me because they're not. They have proved nothing. And if Notre Dame got the Alabama treatment, we'd be a top 3 offense on these rankings. Yeah. We don't get the Alabama treatment.
Let's talk about this too. There's another team that's not in the top 10 that is very similar to Alabama. What team is that? In terms of lost production. Oregon.
Georgia? Oh, Oregon.
No quarterback returning. Their running back's not returning.
Their best receiver got hurt, is out for the year.
That's different, right, compared to Ryan Williams, but similar to where it's very unknown. So why is Alabama here and a team like Georgia? I don't know.
You could make an argument for Oregon.
I don't know if you can make an argument for Oregon being top 10, but you can make an argument saying Alabama's not top 10 because that's a fact. They're not.
No, I'm saying you can make
off of the rankings that we see here, not top 10. They do not meet the criteria of what we see.
Yeah. I want to go back to Deuce's point in the comments. He said thinks Penn State's still too high. I wouldn't say that they're too high in terms of a video game preseason ranking for offense. I think what I would say is that I still am not fully bought into their offense with Drew Aller under center. And I don't think that are they going to be the number 2 offense in the country this year? No.
I think they're number 2 offense in the country in terms of talent.
Talent, yes.
Production in terms of talent, and that's why I'm okay with it. Because Drew Aller's not going to have top 5 passing yards. The running game will definitely be top 5. But the receiver, they didn't have a receiver last year that
they had Tyler Warren.
Their backup tight end this year's going to be good too. But I mean, Aller's good. I mean, will it flow together? Will the coaching, will the coordinator put everything together? I agree with it. I think Penn State is super talented this year. To be honest, I think, last year I was like, if Notre Dame Penn State play, I would 100% pick Notre Dame. I always pick Notre Dame no matter what. But if Penn State plays Notre Dame this year, that is a little scarier than when we played them last year. So
I would
My
say
big thing
this.
with my big thing with Aller is he's a good quarterback.
yes,
I put him in the top 10. He's a great quarterback against good teams. Not that great of a quarterback against like your top 5 teams, your top 5 defenses. He did not play well against us. He did not play well against Ohio State. When he played a top team like Oregon with a crappy defense, he played them pretty great.
he
But
also starts slow against bad teams.
yeah, that
You
too.
notice that. But I mean, you just look at these rankings. I don't think besides Alabama, but like I said, you have the second highest ranked player in the game that's an offensive
Yeah.
player. You're going to be top 10 when you have that.
I think
Mhm.
I think part of it too is the misconception. A lot of people get upset, and when a lot of people disagree about these, is the misconception between ranking based off of preseason talent on a roster as opposed to what they actually do on the field. I don't think any of us on this board think Penn State is going to be number 2 in scoring offense, or like they're not going to be out here throwing the ball like USC, Miami, like last year. Like it's not going to be that because that's not their identity. Like they run an offense similar to Notre Dame's, right?
Yeah.
Where it's run first, and take deep shots as it comes. I think that I can, if you want to say Penn State is number 2 based off of offensive talent, I'm not going to argue that. I just don't think that, like, if you're going off of who the second best offense in college football is, I would even take Ohio State just because, the quarterback's a concern.
Yeah, if you
but they got the best damn receivers in the nation.
If you were to pick the second best offense in the country, you would pick Western Kentucky. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
That's
true.
Hey, don't hate on those hilltoppers. Don't hate on those hilltoppers.
Yeah. Let's look at defense.
Yeah, defense. Now, this one I feel like we're going to get pretty.
We're gonna get pretty heated, yeah. Especially
Ben out of
Ben's
shape
gonna
about.
set off fire.
Yeah, I'm throwing hands. I'm throwing hands with who's the maker of EA? It's not like 2K where the Roddy 2K is on Twitter all the time.
Scott O'Gallagher.
Well, one of the main devs,
Gallagher.
one of the head devs for College Football 26 and 25 is a Michigan alum. So, and that tells you anything.
I'm just gonna find some stuff.
LSU
You guys
having
go
top
ahead.
10
I'll do my rant after you guys go. I'm just gonna find some stats
All
real
right.
fast.
LSU having a top 10 defense is just their defensive line last year was atrocious, and I mean they got portal help, but their offense, yes, I get top 10. Texas Tech keep them in there, Clemson keep them in there, Oregon, I don't hate it. Usually I think Oregon is offense, so I am a little like okay, but to be honest, Michigan and LSU are the 2 teams that don't belong there, and I think you put in Notre Dame, and then I think you put in I can't even think of another top 10 defense, so I guess maybe I don't agree with LSU and Michigan there. I mean, what do you think, Ryan?
I don't think Alabama should be number 1. I think no, there is no way. There is no argument. There is no debate. There is no justification that Notre Dame is not a top 5 defense on this list at the very minimum. I think they're top 3. I would personally have, I'd have Georgia and I'd have, Texas in there along with Notre Dame. I just don't see. We have Leonard Moore, who, outside of randomly Jared McCoy from Tennessee, who somehow is randomly the best corner in college football. Don't know where that came from. But we have the best cornerback in college football on our defense, and we're returning a shit ton of production on
Specifically
that defense.
at linebacker.
Safety, like corner.
You have a new safety starting this year. You have a new linebacker starting, which the other linebacker had playing experience last year. And then you look at the defensive line. That is the biggest hole of this defense, arguably. Edges, great. They played a lot of depth last year, right? But you look at the interior. it's a little like an experience. But then we did have Donovan Heinisch and we had Gabriel Rubio play last year in important playoff games, so they're going to come in. You have the transfer from Louisville; they're going to come in and be electric. Yeah, Mays Madman, I will say with Michigan, when I think about it, I'm okay with Michigan being top 10. Mainly LSU is the big one. I don't agree with Michigan being above Notre Dame as a defense, but I could argue top 10.
And the thing is, like, I wouldn't like, and shout out to Mays Madman, my buddy Phil. But he, like, I wouldn't even be mad if I would be like, I would disagree, obviously, but I wouldn't be mad if he had Michigan ranked ahead of Notre Dame in the defensive category. Do I agree with it? No. But the fact you have LSU, Alabama, Texas Tech, and Clemson ahead is just ridiculous. Like, there is no way in hell you watched Notre Dame's defense last year with the amount of freshmen and sophomores you had starting and look at them return those same guys and say, well, that was a top 5 defense last year. It's not a top 5 defense this year.
The most injured college football playoff team ever had all that young talent playing. Do you think they're playing into account that Al Golden's gone?
Shouldn't.
I know.
They shouldn't, but they might be. I'm trying to get through my head how it works. Okay, can I take the souls of EA now?
Go ahead.
All right.
Get the floor.
I'm going to give you 2 teams here. I want you to tell me the similarities between these teams. Albany Christian and Baylor University. What's similarities between those 2 teams?
Texas.
Both from Texas.
Texas Tech allowed 50-plus points to those 2 teams. Baylor scored 59. Albany Christian scored 51 points against Texas Tech last year. Let me keep going. Washington State, 37 points. University of Cincinnati, 41 points. Colorado, 41 points. Oklahoma State, 48 points. They lost their ball game 39-26. How in the world do you have that above Notre Dame? Any given way in any world. How? Explain to me. Explain to me like I'm 12. Please do. And this is not on Texas Tech because I know they didn't make the ratings. They probably don't think they're a top 10 defense. How are they above Notre Dame? LSU. I think LSU is a good team this year. They're not above Notre Dame. Clemson, I think they should be higher, but they're not above Notre Dame.
Yes.
Oregon, I think Notre Dame's better than Oregon defensively by a mile and a half. Oregon, like what? How many points did Ohio State drop against Oregon the first half alone?
Almost, like 40.
Like we have the number 1 returning freshman in the country.
On defense.
We're losing 2 players on defense. We're losing Watts and Kaiser.
And Cross. And
Okay, the D-line's different. But the D-line didn't have a drop-off. The D-line, we've been playing with those guys in the playoffs, is my point. Not like we're having guys who never played that position.
ABA will probably take the spot.
Yeah, we got the kid from Louisville.
Yeah.
How in the world are we not a top 10 defense? And Alabama is a top 10 defense.
No, they're the number 1 defense. Sorry.
Yeah, they're number 1 defense. How is Alabama a top 4 defense, top 5 defense? It's just, it's aggravating.
I think that they're taking into account of in certain games last year, Alabama, yes, their defense didn't look top 10, but there were certain games against Georgia and against certain teams that they really looked like they had a best defenses in the country.
Did we just forget the Vanderbilt game where Diego?
Let's say the Vanderbilt game did not look like a top 5 defense.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to say that that's probably what they're thinking. They're returning talent, right? It's Alabama.
Like, this is so bad. Like, the thing is, like, we can have, what's crazy is, like, Ben is typically very, like, even keel when we have debates about stuff. Like, Ben doesn't, like, ever really rant. But, like, this is rantable. Like, this is how bad this is. I can't, there is no way that you can explain this to me that makes sense, that Notre Dame is not a top 10 defense.
I think the biggest thing that doesn't I don't like it, but I know that I can change it. Like, I know that I can do dynasty, I could recruit, and I can play at a level that will change that, right? I think that's why I'm more like it's all right, right? It's not like it's CBS saying that these defenses are better than us, but I do agree with Ben specifically with LSU. I do think Texas Tech should be where they are at like 10 because I do think they have a lot of talent defensively this year.
My rant on Texas Tech is that Notre Dame is not more than Texas Tech.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I don't think Notre Dame's below half these teams.
Yeah.
I said at the very least they should be top 5.
Notre Dame's defense should be higher rated than their offense.
I don't know how it's not.
Like, I think do we think that maybe they got the defensive ranking and the offensive ranking mixed up?
Maybe I'll email the
Like,
EA Sports.
No, because how would Alabama have a 96 overall offense?
yeah.
Is Ryan Williams 110 overall now?
I mean, there's arguably offenses.
Oh.
Like, if you were to tell me, I think on the offensive list, like some of the teams that were on there, Clemson or whoever was below Notre Dame has a better offense than Notre Dame. I'd be like, I mean, I'm like, okay. But if you tell me, like, LSU has a better defense than Notre Dame, I'm like, fuck off. Like, it's just like,
Yeah.
they're
Seriously.
Fuck off.
Like, and I get it. Like, I think there's going to be improvement with LSU's defense. I think there's going to be improvement from Texas Tech's defense.
Yeah, when they
You know
lose
what-
to Clemson
you know
week
why-
1, they're going to
Yeah.
take it.
You know why I know there's going to be improvement? Because LSU and A&M's or LSU and Texas Tech's defenses were already ass. There's no way. There's the only way to go. You can only go up, right? Like,
no, buddy. We watched that Notre Dame defense the year to Sean Kaiser. There's only one way to go after that. It's straight to the shitter.
LSU will be a good team this year. I do not think they make the playoffs. I think they will be just outside. But who knows? They could be either. I think they're just in or just outside. But if they lose to Clemson week 1, I think the loser of Clemson LSU doesn't make it week 1.
I just think like it even makes it worse when you see this. We have a top 10 player in the defensive category.
Who the fuck is Gerald McCoy? Jermod McCoy.
How do we not have the number 1 corner?
I just don't. It just.
Anthony, I do like the top 4. Yeah. I think you replace Colin Simmons with McCoy. I can't see who's the Oregon player.
I got it. Hold on. Dylan Finneman.
Yeah, you put McCoy. I think you move Collins over McCoy, Peter Woods over McCoy, and Moore over McCoy. And Woods.
So why is Leonard Moore and Dylan Finneman the same overall?
Yeah, but
what are we doing?
I will say this. The EA, I mean, I did read their 13,000-word article on Dynasty Mode. So they did say that when it comes to portal and all that stuff, that obviously a freshman 93 overall is going to be higher ranked than a senior 93 overall in the portal because of more years of experience. If Dylan is a senior 93 overall next year when the game comes out or the next season in Dynasty, Moore is going to be like a 97 overall. Right.
Yeah, I just think the defensive rankings look even worse when you look at Leonard Moore as a top 10 player in the game in general, and he's also a top 10 defensive player. So let's see. Alabama is the number 1 defense according to EA.
They don't have anyone.
They don't have any. Where's the rating boost come from?
I wanna go and check out the ass of the EA employee they pulled this fucking thing out of. They pulled this out their ass. There was no way they could be this bad.
They must have KVA as like an 83 overall.
They must. Bro, wait, hold on. Does Texas Tech have a single top 10 defensive player? No.
Pray to God not.
Does LSU? Does right here? Does LSU?
How is Bade not a top 10 defensive player? He's the top defensive recruit going into the draft.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, and Auburn. Auburn's not a top 10 defense, but at least they have a top 10 defensive player in the game. I don't. It doesn't make sense.
This is such a bad rating. I didn't read this before this. These are so fucking terrible. Oh my god. We're gonna get kicked off the air because of how bad these are. We're showing legit shit on the screen. These are so bad.
Oh.
How is oh my god. Okay, so they got one right. Caleb Downs is the best defensive player in college football.
Yeah.
Besides that, they went 0 for 9.
Like I get
Anthony Hill Jr. is definitely the second best defensive player.
I think
I take Bain over Junior. That's my thing.
I think like they've got some of this right. Jermod McCoy is
Not better than Leonard Moore.
You know how I know he's not better than him? I don't know who the hell he is. I watch like every college football game in Tennessee in the playoffs. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's.
Oh my!
I'm sorry. Like you're telling me Leonard Moore, a freshman All-American, and a guy who carried after a first-round talent corner went down for the season, came in and was great as an All-American and led to a national championship and was a lockdown corner is better than
the number one returning defensive freshman in the nation. Yeah,
I've never heard of him.
He's not better than Jared McCoy. EA says it.
It reminds me when they did mock draft rankings for this past year's draft a year ago, and they had James Pierce Jr. as the number 1 overall pick. And I was like, yeah, I know who James Pierce Jr. is, but I didn't even have him in the top 10. And I was like, who? What the heck? And then he obviously got picked at like 20. But it's just great offensive players. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so this is the final one we'll get into. Obviously, we know the top 10 players overall in the game. Jeremiah Love and Leonard Moore are top 10. This is the offense. The offensive one, I'm not as mad at. It seems like they actually know what the hell they're talking about.
I agree with the top 5. Well, actually, no. I replaced Singleton with Jordan Tyson.
Oh, you want to put Singleton? Okay. Yeah,
I replaced Singleton with Tyson. But I like Proctor. I think he's the best offensive lineman in the country. I can't speak on the Texas A&M offensive lineman.
I don't know who that is. I don't.
I agree with I know who the Miami one is. Eli Stote, the tight end for Vandy, is a little surprising. I've actually never heard of him. Is he good? He's
supposed to be the best.
I just asked the same question: who the hell he is?
Yeah, look at his stats from last year.
All of the stuff you see about him is he's by far the best tight end in the country.
So he's going to end up being average and being a second-round pick in the draft.
So his stats last year, he had 638 yards, 5 touchdowns. So 5 touchdowns.
That's not bad, but I would say
terrible,
but
93 is crazy.
93 overall, yeah.
Top 10 offensive player in the game.
That feels like one of those they're giving him that rating because there's not that many tight ends. He's the best at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get he's the number 1 tight end prospect, but has he done on the field to earn a 1 less overall than a Jeremiah Smith and Jeremiah Love, who are 2 less overalls than those guys who are Heisman contenders?
Yeah, that's my thing. He's not 2 less overalls worse than Ryan Williams.
And he's not better. He's not on the same level. He's not on the same level as Nicholas Singleton.
I was about to say, I think Nicholas Singleton, I don't know if you know this, Ben, he almost went to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yep, right. Freeman told me. He doesn't shut the fuck up.
Katron Allen. I even have Katron Allen ahead of Stowers.
I would probably put Price ahead of Stowers.
To be honest, I would put.
We've seen Price; he could do stuff on the field at least.
I would put a quarterback on this list. Where are the quarterbacks?
Yeah, where are?
A lot of them. A lot
of them are 93 overalls that I saw.
Wait,
they're all tied. I saw the list of quarterbacks today, and Aller, Klubnik, and Nussmeier were all 93 overall.
So why are they? So they just decided, in terms of overall, we're going to put the Vanderbilt tight end ahead of the top 3 quarterbacks.
Maybe
I really feel like it just shows you how bad
EA is.
It's just that he looks that much better than everyone else. But they have to give him a high overall, so someone uses him.
I do want to say this about the game, right? college football 26 is what we all wanted college football 25 to be. I will say on the aspect, there's disappointments with Road to Glory. Some people, I don't get the equipment merchant people, but I definitely keep up a lot with this game and the development of it. And I went reading that article. When I first watched the Dynasty Deep Dive, I was disappointed. But when I read the article and saw that everything that they listened and added into Dynasty this year that are just small details, this is going to be a good game.
I'm still mad that we're not getting Road to Glory full high school season, and it's
That's
only
the
like
biggest
month.
thing.
So that's my question. I haven't looked at any of it. What are we not getting?
You're not getting mascot mashup. You're not getting a full high school experience. So for Road to Glory, you will have, I believe,
5 moments.
Yeah, you'll have 4 to 5 moments in, like, I think 5 high school games or something. And you earn your star level, and you have to commit and uncommit. And if you don't commit in time, you could lose your scholarship. It's really cool how they did it. You don't play a full high school game. You play moments.
It's still not as good as what we got with NCAA 14.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dynasty, though, I will say that, they added formation subs. They added the wear and tear substitutions. It is not the same game as last year. They fixed the transfer portal. They added transfer portal sliders that you could have no players transfer, up to 30 on a team transfer. You have, like I said, the biggest thing was the wear and tear fix. They added history. They added life of day.
Trophy room.
They added life and day improvements. If you
So
look at the Heisman,
my question is my Georgia linebacker going to get pulled over for going 98 miles per hour in his Dodge Charger?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Or not Dodge Charger. I don't know.
Hey, by the way, I do want to say, when the game comes out, when I get back from vacation, because I'll be back home right when the game drops, first thing I'm doing, Deuce Knight's transferring to Notre Dame. Like, that's happening.
First thing I'm doing is putting Notre Dame in a conference.
Wait. Deuce Knight or Kenny Minchie, higher overall? Who's getting which?
Deuce Knight.
Deuce Knight.
Wait, is there a chance that Kenny Minchie is higher overall than CJ Carr?
No.
I pray to God not. Oh my God. All the shit we would hear.
You're gonna laugh.
All the shit we would hear.
Oh no, you already know the hashtag why not Kenny tweets would immediately come back.
But this game is not the same
I'm
game.
in the first season, I'm bringing in Nico, because why not Nico? Or who's that BYU quarterback who just got kicked off the team?
No. So what we'll do is we'll do a series, and we'll do it on the channel where we'll do Deuce Knight, career road to glory. He transfers back to Notre Dame. Keon Keeley transfers back to Notre Dame. Peyton
Please
Bowen
don't do this.
transfers
Please
to
don't do
Notre
that. Please don't do this.
They're all going to tear their ACLs and have no careers at Notre Dame. That's how it would go.
Oh man!
But I want to say that this game, you could definitely tell. For me, the gameplay, there's not much you can do.
Oh no!
What happened?
Did you read that?
No.
The BYU quarterback.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why not Jake Retzlaff?
Yeah, he's going to be off BYU in this game.
Well, no, he's already left the team.
He's a free agent. He's a free agent.
We can get him.
I don't. No,
CJ Carr doesn't work out. Bring him in week 3. Have him throw the ball.
To be honest, if CJ Carr doesn't work out, I want that freshman to start.
Blake Hebert?
Yeah, I'd rather him play over Minchie.
Low-key Tyler Buckner.
Actually, yes. Tyler Buckner all the way, man.
Can you get kicked out for soaking at BYU?
I think you can.
Okay, you get kicked out for they have to drink Diet Coke or something? Like you're not allowed to have.
You can't have sugar. I think you can't drink coffee. There's some rules with that kind of stuff.
Well, I could tell you this. Who's a quarterback? Yeah, I'm about to say, who's the quarterback that just committed there?
Oh, he's a 5-star. He's a
number 1 quarterback. What's his name?
Ryder Lyons.
Ryder Lyons. I could tell you this. BYU, they didn't do what Auburn did with Deuce Knight. There was no women texting his line. You see, he's going on like his mission trip early so he can get playing time early.
This would not happen in college football 5-10 years ago. A quarterback that's elite going to Nebraska or going to BYU or going to some of these schools, NIL has definitely helped out with that aspect.
They've got Mormon church money. Like, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Ryan's Mormon.
I'm not Mormon.
No, sorry.
Ryan and his 6 wives.
I actually like to have a good time.
Yeah, we know you have a kid.
Oh, man. AJ, who's that?
AJ from Pell City.
Oh.
Frable's favorite.
Yeah. All right. Well, it was a good show. We got through everything we needed to. We'll see what happens. We got all the 3 commitment dates coming up soon. But yeah, I want to appreciate all 307 of you guys that tuned in. If you guys like the show, make sure you go drop a like and subscribe to the Voice of College Football Notre Dame YouTube channel. We'll be back next week.
Next week.
Yeah, next week, same time when College Football 26 drops. Hopefully, we expect some more fireworks from Notre Dame recruiting. But
I
guys,
like your pun there with the 4th of July weekend.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, I'm your host, Ryan Fravel, with my co-host.
Someone
Ben
make that into a gift, please.
And my co-host, Sean, at Indy Forever on Twitter. Go drop us a follow. And as always, we will see you guys next week. Be safe, go Irish, and have a great 4th of July.